I'd like to start off by saying thank you to Mr. Morrissey and the Chapel Council for making this happen, as well as my advisor, Mrs. Pecchia, and my very special roommate for that introduction. You never fail to make me laugh. I had to wear a kilt. You may be thinking, Dylan, that's a really weird way to start your chapel talk, but it's true. In 8th grade, I would wear a blazer, a tie, and a kilt to class every day. I was 13, and I was transitioning from a progressive London day school to a traditional British boarding school, and I was really overwhelmed. I transitioned from living with my parents, my younger sister, and my younger brother to living alone, with only monthly visits to see my family. After 3 months, I traded in my blazer and kilt and returned to my casual attire and forward-thinking day school, but nothing was the same. I was different. I started having a hard time keeping my friends. I felt confused all the time, and I didn't understand why things that used to feel so easy were suddenly so difficult. I felt like the world around me was moving too fast, and I couldn't catch up. My mom started noticing something was off. I was losing my jovial spirit, becoming quieter than usual, and I was stressed all the time. She talked to a few doctors to try and understand what was going on. After hearing about how I was acting and feeling, they suggested testing for autism spectrum disorder, or ASD. I didn't know what that meant, but I went through with the testing, and I was diagnosed with being on the spectrum. At first, I didn't know how to feel, but then something strange happened. I felt relief. For the first time, I had an explanation for why I felt so different from other people. It wasn't just in my head, it was real. It helped me understand that I wasn't just being awkward or weird. My brain just worked in a different way. I felt like a light had been turned on in a dark room. Then, before 9th grade, my family and I moved to the United States. It was another huge change, and I had to start over in a new school and meet all new people. It was scary and exhausting. I felt like I had just started to understand myself, and now I was back at the beginning. At my new doctor's office, the doctor noticed that I had small birthmarks all over my body. I had always had them, but I didn't think much of it. The doctor said that having more than 3 birthmarks could be a sign of a genetic condition, and I had 12. That opened up a new round of questions and doctor's visits. Neurofibromatosis type 1 is a genetic disorder caused by genetic mutations. It affects people in different ways. Eventually, testing confirmed NF1 was what my doctors thought was ASD. It caused my social and learning difficulties. Once I knew about my diagnosis, I started thinking about my past differently. I realized that things I had always struggled with, like understanding social cues or dealing with loud noises or sudden changes, were all connected to how my brain worked. My diagnosis wasn't something to be ashamed of. Rather, it was an explanation for why I am the way I am. This journey hasn't been easy, but I've learned so much. I've learned how to speak up for myself, ask for help, and find real friendships. I've learned that being different isn't bad. It's just a part of who I am. I've learned that understanding and accepting yourself is one of the most powerful things you can do. Thank you very much.